just.
Welcome everyone to the Culture to Thrive podcast. We're here today. It's an exciting day, actually, a day that we haven't actually done. We haven't done anything like this, Melanie, in a while.
No, we haven't done it.
But we still got it. It was,
I think we still got it. I think we still got it.
you know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
We're going to start talking, and before you know
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
we're going to be flowing, and then, yeah, so.
And then we got it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we got
Well,
it.
I just want to say just hello to the beautiful people out there. Welcome to this Lives in Me challenge recording today. In our group, what we're trying to do is to help the African diaspora learn more and connect with the heritage on the continent through DNA testing, cultural experiences. And so we like to dig deep and celebrate this heritage and unearth the incredible stories woven into the fabric of our very being. I'm your co-host, Melanie Best, and this is the one and only Marlon.
Marlon. Right. Yeah, I'm like, what are you about to say?
He's the man with the master plan.
No.
He's bringing the people together.
Amen.
No, seriously, he really is. And he's starting at the grassroots level. No doubt about it. Yeah. So, but tonight we're hoping that we may have some guests join us later on. But if it's just the two of us, we both have been very much impacted about learning about our family history. Marlon, just again for the people out there, tell us who you are, where you come from, and just a little bit what you've learned and why Lives in Me heritage is so important to you.
Right. Well, I mean, when we started, this is actually the first, of course, like I say, the first program that we ever had at the Afrimerican Academy. In fact, back then it was the Afrimerican Culture Initiative. It was much longer. That's our government name. And then, my mom being from Virginia and my dad being from Nigeria, I've lived in this space. Of lives in me and trying to understand what it means culturally to be like an African American living in Africa, or when I'm here, I'm the African living in America. I'm never at home, but so when we started this, and this is now going to be the eighth Lives in Me Heritage giveaway. Yes, and we got our DNA test from African Ancestry ready to go. Right.
Ready to go.
Ready to go. So, we give away one of those every year. We started doing it back, like I said, our first program, and then we would have discussions about going to Africa. That time was before the pandemic, so a lot that went before all this Zoom. So, oh my God, that sounds so old. Like before Zoom,
Back when we used to gather in person.
Yeah, remember then?
Yeah, those days,
Right.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah. So, we started doing these events. We were trying to partner with tour companies, and so people could get trips to Africa and things like that. Well, obviously you need a lot of funding for that. And then the pandemic hit, and we went kind of virtual. And then, that's how you got involved, because you're our only winner from out of the good state, Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Tell them where you're from.
I'm gonna do like my daughter who goes to Howard. Well, I'm actually originally from Little Rock, Arkansas, but by way of Houston, Texas, I'm representing South Side, and that's what I do here. That's how we do it here. Yeah, by way of, but yeah. So I'm in Houston, Texas, and I was so fortunate that when I was kind of looking for spaces to connect once I came back from living on the continent. When you said I'm at home, but I'm not at home. When I lived in South Africa, so many times people were like, "Hey, sissy, what's up?" Would talk to me in the language. I'm like, I don't know. They're like, how is that possible that you don't know your language, sister? I'm like, because I'm American. But then when I came back to the States in 2021, I'm at home, but I'm not at home with all the things that have changed since of living overseas for 12 years. So, but I've lived in the great state of Texas for a long time. and sometimes it's not so great, but we're gonna just keep praying for them. We're gonna do what we do. There's a lot of great people in Houston that I've met, and a lot of people that are doing great things community wise, just to make a difference in the lives of people. So, yeah, but I'm here. So anyway, but
Right,
I came to the program through one of your December Kwanzaa informational sessions, and I
right,
was so excited to be the winner and getting to learn about my own African history. And it's funny because my husband, he's big into his genealogy, and I, kind of come in and come out. I've hit
right,
roadblocks, but I've never been able to actually trace my lineage back to the continent. When I've been there several times, and I know the countries there, Nigeria, Ghana, and South Africa, Kenya. Those are the places I've set foot on. They always welcome me. I've always felt like, yeah, I'm home. But when
yeah,
I took this test and learned about my Cameroonian heritage, I was like, oh my gosh, Tikar people, they're
right,
mine. And so I definitely feel just excited, elated to learn more, and still on that journey of learning more about the tribe that my family represents. And so I feel blessed just to have that information, because it reminds me of the resiliency. Again, these people, especially as we're kind of looking, Juneteenth is a week away, Marlon.
right, right, right.
And
That's here.
something significant happened on the shores of Galveston, where they
Right,
declared the slaves didn't know they were free. And
right.
but they received word June 9th, and I've actually done that walk from the church to the courthouse, and they read the proclamation telling the slaves that they were free. And it's such a joyous thing, like, and this is what we're hoping to begin that journey for someone, for one of our five contestants, in the weeks
Right,
to come,
right,
for
right,
them to learn about, just like, yeah, we were once enslaved people, but you were free with a rich heritage and legacy that still lives in you today. And so
right,
yeah,
right,
so that's what makes me so excited about our Lives in Me, collective that we have, and the things that we get to learn, and help each other discover together, because so much of my experience in Africa is not about the individualism, but it's about the collective helping one another. Because when you're thriving, I'm thriving. When you're hurting, I'm hurting. Hurting. We kind of just, when one rises, the other one should come up with him, and that is the sentiment that I think we still carry in us today. I don't know if you feel that, Marlon, but that's definitely
no,
what
that's
I've
exactly
experienced
what
in
it is.
how.
No,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I feel. I mean, my perspective being a person that, like, okay, this was something that I thought of and thought that it was needed. And then for people to be so dedicated to it, and, you dedicate your time and effort, and, we have our meetings and our WhatsApp groups and all these other
Mhm.
things, um, and the vision of creating services
Yeah.
to do cultural repair work on our people
Mhm.
is, and creating that infrastructure is something that we have to take
Yeah.
seriously. And nobody, and I mean, if you think they're going from that,
Oh no.
then I mean, you really need your head checked.
It's not gonna
Because
happen. It's not gonna happen. Yeah.
yeah, that's,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm not a defeatist.
Mm-mm.
So okay, it's not gonna happen. So I'm not, so, and then, like, like we said earlier before we got on, then even if what they're going to fund, they're going to change it up
Mhm.
to fit their version,
Yeah.
what they value,
Mhm.
which may not be aligned with what we value. And
Mhm.
a lot of the Live Me Heritage program is about that cultural integrity of what we are.
Yeah.
Like, if you really want to keep it real, like, since we hit the shores in 1619,
Mhm.
there's literally been, we have never been in our own space by
Yeah.
ourselves.
Mhm. Yeah, we
Everything
have
we,
tried to create our own spaces, but there have been
right. I mean, we
disruptors.
were doing a good job.
Yeah. 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 We like,
We're
okay,
doing a
you
good job.
you don't want us there? Okay, we'll withdraw and do our thing. And
We'll go over here, but then they come over there.
yes.
Like, okay, so,
Yeah.
so I think, it's high time in this time that we can see exactly where we are
Mhm.
and what's happening politically, because it is a cultural war. Like I know that I'm not the one that's actually saying that it's a culture war. They're the ones that say it's a culture war,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah. So we have to know that, like, when there's an African proverb, when two elephants are fighting, it's the grass that suffers.
Wow.
We're the grass. We're the grass,
Mm-hmm.
and the two elephants, or well, one donkey and one elephant,
Mm-hmm.
when they get done with their battle, it's us
Oh
that's on the
yeah,
ground that's gonna be,
yeah,
you
and
know.
that.
So
Mm-hmm. Very true.
we can see it's coming. We know it's coming. So what are we doing?
Yeah, yeah,
You
and
know.
again, and this part, like you're saying, is essential of this reclamation of who we are, learning about our history, learning about the resilience, the fortitude that existed for generations, for you and I to stand
Right.
here to in this day, in this time. We're not going to lose. We're going to continue to thrive. We're going to
We have never
we've never
lost.
lost.
We actually are
That's
undefeated.
right.
We only every time we come out,
Yeah.
the Civil War,
Hmm.
even World War II,
Yeah.
even what was it? What was I mean, the Civil Rights
Civil
era.
rights, Jim
We don't.
Crow,
We're actually we're
Red
just
Summer,
just W.
all of it.
You're right.
Yeah,
W's. There's a lot of
there
W's.
is.
It's just that when you can turn the W upside down and
Mm,
twist it around and bend it up to look like an L,
mm,
after a while, we start looking at it and thinking it's actually an
yeah,
L,
and it's
and
not.
it ain't no
It's
L.
not an
It's a
L.
lot.
Hmm.
There's a lot of victories, a lot of inventions, a lot of
That's
ingenuity.
right.
Um,
Hmm.
we taught ourselves to read um, when others try to stop us from
That's
reading
right.
and learning to read.
Hmm.
So that tradition of education, it being very important foundation,
Yeah.
and to African Americans is like as old as us being here,
Hmm.
and so we have to educate ourselves. In fact, I would even argue that this is the most we have not educated longest period that we have not directly educated ourselves in the
Hmm.
history
Hmm.
of the United States of
Yeah,
America.
yeah. It's funny how I don't know where we get. Well, actually, I do know where we got complacent, because we're such a people of hope. We
Mm,
believe that the world had changed, that hearts and minds had changed because again, we didn't have segregation that kept us, like separated. And for some people, when you don't have proximity to different cultures, you make up stories about them and you believe them because you don't know anybody. But when you start going to
right,
school together and even intermarrying, all these things, you learn more. You're like, oh, they good. And until there's a exchange of ideas and exchange of culture and kind
right.
of something new that begins to form and,
Multicultural,
and create.
right.
Yeah. But we believe that this is where we're going. I mean, like, was it 2008 was a very special year. We thought we had finally moved past all.
But it brought it out. It
Exactly.
actually turned to that. That's what brought it out.
And that's what brought it out. Yeah.
You're and that speaks to the never-ending dichotomy that is America,
Mhm.
and the want to find a way of balancing out
Mhm.
with um somebody's trying to join. I
Okay.
don't know if they're having issues, but trying to have the dichotomy where on one hand you're trying to claim to be moral, meanwhile you're swimming in a sea of immorality
Mhm.
and crime and humanity,
Yeah.
and then everything has to be now upside down.
Mhm.
And when these things collide in real life,
Yeah.
where these ideas like Obama becoming the president actually become a reality,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
it begins to change the narrative that has been written for 400 years of
Mhm.
American exceptionalism. Because African American exceptionalism flies in the face of
Yes.
the majority of time
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
we've, so it's actually, I feel that what's happening now is culturally that those lies are untenable.
Mhm.
They've always been
Always.
untenable.
Mhm.
The winds just have to be blowing in the right direction. And I feel now is the time where this act of violence, these harsh and cruel ways of actually perpetuating that, because that has actually been under wraps for a while now.
Yeah, it has been.
You know, they itching to let some of that
Yeah,
out. It's hard to keep it
it
in.
is. It is. It is. Yeah. Look, if you ain't talking to your heavenly Father about it, yeah, yeah, that stuff it's gonna come to the surface. It's like
It's been
a
tough.
festering
They've been
wound.
used to doing it all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's what it
Yeah.
is. And now they had to keep quiet for like 60 years
Mm-hmm.
now.
Mm-hmm.
They're like,
Yeah,
hello,
it's
we
coming
got
out.
some things we have to say.
Yeah, which is
You
so
know,
sad, because they miss out on the beauty of experiencing, really God's creation, and just how there's so much that everybody brings to the table. Instead of the appreciation of what's made us great as a country, yeah, we're gonna suppress that because this is what we desire: power, money,
yeah,
greed.
but I think we have to be very aggressive. I think
Yeah,
that is what this is showing me.
right.
See, this is something, if we're talking about something that's 300-400 years that has
Hmm.
been there,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just been a certain level of violence against a certain group of people,
Hmm.
at historic levels with zero accountability.
Hmm.
To switch that dynamic around,
Yeah.
right? This is not something that can just be. We have to be very aggressive of ensuring that the multicultural, which is what we're describing now,
Hmm.
this place where it's no longer even union. You know, it used to be union versus Confederate. It's not
It's
union
not.
versus Confederate anymore.
Mm-mm.
It's multicultural.
Hmm.
We've kept on going.
Right.
We kept on. That it was been difficult. It's been harder, but guess what?
Hmm.
All the states that have like the highest income, guess what?
They're
The least
diverse. Oh
multicultural.
yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Diversity
Hmm.
has been proven to
Hmm.
be more money comes in,
Hmm.
higher education
Hmm.
levels. I mean, look at Massachusetts, like all this, like California, Massachusetts, they talk about it, oh, with blue states. No, everything's based on a lot of
Yeah,
research.
it is.
Like we're not playing around. This is not like facts for you and me to,
Mhm.
to have a debate on.
Yeah, no, no,
Like,
no, it's been proven. I mean, look, Houston, next to New York, next to LA, Houston's one of the most
right.
diverse city. I mean,
These are
people
the
are,
huge, right.
it's just like, and again, but it's because of the innovation, the interaction that people are
The
having
spice of
together.
life.
Yeah, it's bringing out
Yes.
gold, diamonds. We're producing. It's
Right.
productive, and that's what,
Right.
again, that's the beauty. But hey, yeah. So
But that's what I think the question needs to be asked, and there's a question needs to be asked. And I think yes, the Juneteenth weekend, this is the kind of time that we need to reflect and act this kind of question.
mhm,
Okay, they have been self-segregating. The opposite side of this coin is that they're
mhm,
self-segregating.
yeah,
They're the ones putting up the walls.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah,
And if you've been doing that for so long and diversity has been out of your outside your walls, and you're keeping it actively out, looking
mhm,
for places that it exists, destroy it.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Sad.
all sorts of things based in no
No
facts.
facts, just
Based all
myths,
this is
myths and
just myth
feelings.
and innuendos and
Mhm, mhm,
look, like this is the modern day McCarthyism.
mhm,
This is the modern day lost cause. It is the same thing. The ideology should be defeated, but because of this passive, it's everybody has a right. Yes, people have a right to say everything, but there needs to be consequences
mhm, mhm.
when it's damaging another culture. Because I mean, how do you think we feel as our community
Yeah.
that we're still here
Mhm,
trying to justify things like you know what, it's okay to be woke, and you don't need to take that
mhm,
from us because you don't like what it takes.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Leave it. It's our.
But again, the
Yeah, go
the,
ahead. Go
the
ahead.
initial idea of wokeism didn't come from, what is it, a political roundtable. It came from the Black
Right.
community. It was a call to action
Right.
for our people to be aware of what's
Right.
going on and not to sleep. And again, and even today, people have to be careful not to be asleep in these times because they feel like change can't happen if it didn't happen nationally.
If you can sleep,
Don't sleep. You
I'll
can
take it one
look,
step further.
but have you? I
Don't
don't know.
sleep.
Not to make this an
Just
election talk, but I've been looking at
you
these
can sleep.
election races, and you would think like these small, like mayoral races, it would be overwhelming. People are flooding the polls. Less than 10% in some cities for these mayor, like these people play important roles in your city, you know. But again, because of and this is where I'm gonna come bring it back to culture and community, because we have lost our sense of community. We don't know our history, and we don't know the things that are deep inside of us, just the value of community. We have embraced more the individualism of America. And as Black people,
Right.
unfortunately, I have to say, it's gonna get you killed. You better get you some friends, because you need
Right.
the people to support one, even for just your mental health. You need people that understand your journey, and that microaggression is not in your head. You know, they've experienced it too. You know, just even on that level. So
Exactly.
community is so important, and each person has a role to play. And you can speak to this being from the continent, like within the community, like you know who, like in my hometown, my neighbor said this person grew greens, this one grew tomatoes, and you would just go from house to house to find the food that you need, because you didn't have a grocery store that you can go to because there was segregation.
Right.
So when they did the bus riots, the bus boycotts in Alabama, again, the community collectively decided that we're going to stick this thing out for well over a year to see the change that needs to happen. And we were having the inklings of it, but you know, we need to really dig in, because it's going to be it's going to get rough.
It is going to get rough, you know, and I see this like, you know, we need to understand that if we don't start galvanizing, organizing,
Mhm.
finding ways to fund ourselves,
Yeah.
finding ways of independence, you know,
Mhm.
we have to, I mean, we're going to have to really have a lot of faith.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and this is something that needs to be said, because we got the civil rights movement
Yeah.
because of our culture of faith,
Mhm.
education,
Mhm.
hard
Yeah.
work, right? And in order to pass things on, we have to be in the same place.
Mhm.
That's what, like, no more displacement for our people.
Yeah.
Like, we need to be secure that when we build, we're not going to be kicked out
Yes.
of something the next, you know, the next week or so, you
That's
know.
right.
So it is. So this is where we've got to, you know, really start like thinking about our rights and who we are and
Mhm.
what does it do in terms of our culture that has been that's literally being
Being erased.
erased in real time,
In real time. Yeah.
right now.
Mhm.
That is cool. Like, that's a crime,
It is.
especially when you compound, you know, all the centuries that we've been going through
Mhm.
this.
Mhm.
So, you know, we've got to do a lot.
We do.
So I
But
mean,
but again, like I want you to, before we because we were just chit-chatting, but I know
say
Sundays,
we fall back into it.
but like Saturday's a big day. And I want you to tell those that are tuning in, and even when this gets rebroadcast, like tell us about the event that's planned this Saturday for our
Right.
contestants.
Right. Right. Well, it's going to be great because this Saturday is in Hyde Park, Juneteenth Joy. We just got some bad news that except for being at the Martini Shell outside
Okay.
because of a rain, it's going to be raining. We're going to use the. It's still a good school. It's a historic school, you know, but it's not like being outside.
Okay.
But still happening this Saturday, Juneteenth Joy, at the new Mission School, Old Hyde Park High, here in the Hyde Park. We're going to be having a celebration of all kinds of stuff. I mean, you know, Juneteenth celebration, vendors, activities. You know, we're gonna, you know, so there's a lot of stuff going on. But we're going to be announcing the
Mhm.
8th winner of the Listen Me. Right. So this is African Ancestry. Y'all should go check them out, right? AfricanAncestry.com.
Mhm.
They're, you know, it's an African American owned company. So because people are like, oh, your DNA test, you know, of course. And it's a good question to ask,
Yeah.
right? You want to know if it's safe. You know what just happened to 23andMe. They got like bankrupt or something. And then anyway.
Yeah, they're selling people's information most likely, but neither here nor there.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's why this is so expensive.
It is.
Because this is $300. And while those 23andMe says, I don't even know how much it is, but maybe $30, $40, $50.
If you can catch a sale.
But it's affordable, right?
That's right.
Right. But the reason why it's cheap is because they're selling the information on the back end. Well, this is $300.
That's right.
And this only us is going to buy, and only us is going to make, and only us is going to research.
That's right.
Right. Kind of what we were talking about earlier. And so you have to pay more for our stuff so that's something that we have to learn when we're talking, when we're trying to support Black businesses, is that when you're supporting a Black business, Black business does not have what we call economies of scale.
Yes.
And therefore the margins, in order for it to be, so they can even eat, have to be a bit higher.
That's right.
While big companies, so when the next time you go to a community of culture and you see them, and you're going to buy a meal, whatever it is, from whatever. Hey girl.
Michelle. She's on location, y'all.
Peace, y'all. Peace. Yes.
Where
can you hear me? Let me know.
We can hear you.
Don't make us mad. We can hear you. Where you at? Don't make us mad.
No, I was tuning in. I just finished teaching at the South Boston Waterfront Transportation Center Plaza. So I just finished teaching over here in Seaport. And as you're talking about Black businesses needing, spaces that are not just going to give us a space and kick us out.
Yeah.
This is one of those experiences. So I'm working with this wonderful woman who works with Massport. She's a Black woman, and she has been helping me bring my company So Fire movement to the Seaport area. This ever-changing, so we're right next to the Omni Hotel, the convention center. They just built this huge building across the street that's going to bring in a ton of business, and I'm grateful to be one of the businesses that's going to be activating space with movement. But you guys are on fire today. You're on point. And Marlon, he talks about his soapbox, but your soapbox be real information when you get on it, Marlon.
Isn't it? Lots of history, lots of call to action. He's ready. Always ready.
That's my gift.
Yes.
Thank you for this.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, Michelle. We're so happy that you are finding your feet in spaces to land and bringing joy to our people. Again, as we're building community, we have, Marlon, he's got the historical pieces, documentaries are coming out. Michelle's keeping us active and moving, connecting our souls and our bodies together.
Spirit.
It's just like, these are spaces. If you're in the Boston area, y'all need to get connected and to do these things, because we're building community, we're building culture, because we thrive better when we're together.
Right.
Period. This Black woman asks for more money for me. Let's say that, right? We need advocating in spaces, and not, seriously, like, that is literally, we are better together. Because I was like, really? Like, here's my fee. And she was like, well, I know this is your fee, but I'm going to ask for a little bit more for you. I'm like,
I love that. Yes, I love it. That is so awesome.
And even if you know the history of the South Boston, Marlon, this area, this was like shipping container section. This is the South Boston, but back in the day, it was just parking lots. And now it's filled with luxury apartments. They're like $4,000 and up. Who's affording that? And where are the colored folks? There is a beautiful Black museum down the road, which is right in the Superette. I think that's what they call it, Superette. So there's things happening. They're trying to collide with the Black people and companies and businesses here. So every step is good.
That's really, really good. Yes.
And I can see that sea breeze. I'm just glad. I thought you was going to say something like Puerto Rico, or you was going to say something like that's why I said don't make me mad, because I would have had to cut off the whole podcast.
Yeah, we still in C4, so the sea breeze.
No.
But also excited for our finalists for Who we choosing? Oh wait, who you choose?
We're not
You
announcing
choose?
tonight. That people gotta come and be in the place on Saturday.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, not tonight, not tonight. But who do we have? We have Nayel.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
Antonia.
Okay, let me hold on.
Okay,
hold
go
on.
ahead.
Let me
You're gonna
do it
pull up
on
their
the thing.
names. Okay, there we are. Here's our contestants. We have
Right. There you go.
Samantha, Gabrielle, Christina, and Nayel. And these ladies, they've been engaging the last few weeks in some serious challenges where they've been making videos and promoting our organization, and also just themselves, and just the desire for you to follow their journey. And so this will be another step for them as we reveal who will get this DNA test. And then once they learn about their heritage, then we're going to do another show where we do the big reveal. Because one thing that kind of links Michelle and I and other contestants together is we've all had that experience where, we're chronicling this experience of taking that swab of DNA, sending it off, and then Marlon and the rest of the team sharing with us the results. And it's a joyful time. Michelle, you didn't get a chance earlier to share with us about, can you think back? I mean, you were our very first winner. We always got to come back to that.
Wait, hold on. And she just celebrated a big milestone. Happy birthday. I know
Thank you, Marlon. 40th club. We're part of the 40 club. Perimenopause is head.
I'll be leaving you soon, my sister.
Between the wind and the fan, it's
they're blowing you away.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
As they say here in the South,
40 is hitting.
There you go. Love it. But go ahead and share your story.
It's serious. Yes. Yeah. I mean, the quick story, I know the story's never old about how me and Marlon met. He was my Uber driver taking me to a dance competition. That's how we met. And he was telling me about what he does. And I was like, happening in Boston? This is lit. You're trying to bridge the gap and you from Africa? Okay, yeah, I want to be a part of this. And, I grew up in Boston, but born in Virginia. And I've always had questions about more from my family. I mean, they did a great job letting us know that we're from New Orleans and from Portsmouth, Virginia. Portsmouth, we had the crab legs. Virginia, New Orleans, we had the gumbo. So my grandma made sure that we, knew our heritage and food, but that was it. And so when I got a chance to take my DNA test and found that the bloodline goes deep to Cameroon, I mean, I was filled with a joy that I didn't even really know exist with learning more about yourself. I could still remember what that felt like in my nervous system when I found out. We were at the MFA, the Museum of Fine Arts. Marlon threw this beautiful ceremony for me, which I really wish we could do this for all our contestants. He had the drummers. He had this white lady tell me my, African history, no offense, but thank you, Anne, for giving us the history on our history. And, thank you. And it was beautiful. And then I have twin daughters who there's a African god, I think it's Igba or Ijba, that represents the twin gods, that then once I learned where I was from, I was able to, share with, my daughters were there with me, and now they get to tell their kids and, yeah, we got bloodline in Cameroon, Africa. So it's not just, it's not just unknown, because we're definitely, I think I don't even know how to say this, identity crisis in our Black community, where we're taking it to our hoods now. And it's beyond your hood, where you from? Beyond your block, where you from, bro? You're not from a block. You're not from a ghetto. What? You're not from a ghetto, my brother. You wear that jewel around your neck because we did that back in the day. Yes, my sis, you wear those locks, that style, because that's how your ancestors rocked it back in the day. Your spirit remembers, and it's just trying to make you remember. But anyway, so that's what it did for me. It made me remember. That was a long-winded answer.
No, but it's part of your story. Again, as you reclaimed it, as you discovered it, and as you share it, passing it on. Because for some reason, I guess we got to making some money, and so we forgot to share our stories, to share just how we survived all these generations, the ups and downs, the triumphs, and the not so much losses, but just setbacks. we've overcome. And so we're here today. And so now we must reclaim our stories and we must share them. And so thank you, Michelle, for just taking us down that journey and helping us to understand just what it meant for you that very first day where you learned and Marlon celebrated with you. And again, and I think that that's the other beautiful thing about the partnership is that, you know, when you have people in this journey and they're like, pushing you to learn, and then they celebrate that. That's what we've always done. These making moments to celebrate and have times of joy. And isn't that the theme, Marlon, for this Saturday? What did you say? You said it earlier.
Juneteenth joy.
Juneteenth joy. And that's something that is revolutionary. Joy, Black joy is revolutionary. And we keep finding it joy in all the places, and to celebrate one another's victories, big and small.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Michelle.
And I want to say this really quick. I follow this woman. She started, oh my God, I can't think of the company that she started, but she just posted on Instagram about like, why are we still asking Black folks to do more or do better? Like, we got to do better here. We got to do better there. She's like, we're the first this. Our culture is spread everywhere. We have influence here. We got the best entertainers, the best basketball players, the best this. When are we going to stop? Because that's pressure too, right? Like, when are we going to stop being like, we need to do better and do more and just celebrate and what we already like have achieved? Yeah. I'm here for that. So I just wanted to say that because it goes with that theme on Saturday. Celebrate what we already done, baby.
There you go. Yes.
Oh my goodness, you good? We need to call the authorities. You know what? I seem like we're gonna go to our reporter in the scene, Michelle.
We are live and
battling the elements. You know what it looked like? Like, when the hurricanes come and you see the people, the white people, and we're here
in the eye of the storm. Oh gosh.
Oh, it's just like riding a bike when we get on these things.
The memory comes back. Yes, yeah.
Back to you, Marlon and Mel.
All right, thanks, Michelle. So I don't know, Marlon, are we ready to land the plane?
Thank you very much to our reporter in the field, Michelle. Yes. Always doing a great job. We appreciate you, sister.
I'm so glad you could join us tonight. I felt like we were missing something, Marlon, and now I feel like we're complete.
Yes, no, I'm sorry I was late. I was also talking to clients after class, and they were like reminded me why I started my company. They were sharing their moments they had. This was their first time in class, and they were like, "Thank you for reminding me about why movement heals, and thank you for reminding me why I came to dance today." And I was like, thank you for reminding me why I do this from the heart and not because capitalism says I got bills to pay. Thank you.
But you know what, Michelle, you weren't late. They try to make African time or colored people time or Black time. They try to make us feel guilty about it, but you were making a valuable investment in hearing from someone and pausing, and not letting the clock rule your day, but letting that connection build. And so I want to celebrate that, so I'm not mad at you. I'm glad. Yeah, I know we got a time and we got audiences there, but I am so glad that you made space, because too often we're rushing, hustle and bustle, and we don't take time to look one another in the eyes and appreciate their humanity. So applause to you, my sister. Applause to you.
Right. I couldn't say it better. I think that one of the things I'm so excited about with Michelle being in the program for such a long time is to see the transformative nature of her spirit. And it's the same, but it's evolving. She's been going through her special, her 40-year. She had a whole month of birthday, y'all. I'm talking about. I owe you the dinner or lunch.
Don't you know when you turn 40?
I know, like it was not. This was not. Somebody was turning birthday that month. I tell you that much.
I made a whole website for my birthday.
Wonderful. Special. I love it.
It was special to see somebody loving themselves.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Unapologetically. I mean, we see she has all the streaming, and when you know her from such a primal level, she's not putting this on, y'all. This is actually who Michelle is from the moment when she got out of that Uber. She gets on, she's going to a place, she goes, "Hey, y'all, hey!" She does this dance move.
I love it. I love it.
So, that was my first, like, bye-bye, like, oh my God, like, what is going on here?
Who did I just meet?
I don't know. I know, but she lives in me. She embodies it. It was not a fluke. I don't believe in all these kind of flukes. Sometimes people are brought into your lives via chance. There has been no better ambassador that we could have ever asked for. And to see the evolution over all these years, and in so many ways that we can't say on here, because sometimes we be talking on, on our own, our personal stuff, but it and then it transferring. That's where it gets deeper into her kids.
Yeah.
Because if you know what, they say they're twins, but in my heart, I think they're triplets.
Oh, wow.
They are literally like sisters bonded, like, it's really, I see you. I see you. And to see that being transferred to them, this if I could have asked for anything, one of those mini stories in the big story, and I said that came from this program, I would have been just like so elated. But to see it come in all these multiple forms and now being intergenerational, because her growth is now exponentially growing her kids' growth, because they're all like a unit. So it is just, we thank God for everything, and this is one of the blessings that I'm not going to say his name unapologetically, all the time.
All the time.
Right. So, my goodness. Okay, I know I got my soapbox. I'm gonna get off now. I'm off. I'm off now.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, as we'll kind of get ready to land this plane, and so, is there anything else that our viewers or people in the area need to know as they arrive? How do you want them to show up? Where they got to park? What do they need to bring? Give us the as Mary J said, the 411.
The 411. Okay. It's going to be at the new Mission High School. There's going to be parking on the outside. We'll be there from 9 to 3 for the whole program. But For Our Lives in Me will happen sometime in the afternoon, and then in the late morning, and then after that in the afternoon, we're going to take the test there.
Oh wow!
So people will be able to see her swab test on.
Wow!
Yes. Why? Because I don't.
No, I'm saying wow.
Let's get this. Let's get this show on the road. So we'll, and then we'll have a new fresh sister to join us, and we'll be moving forward. On Father's Day, there is something I wanted to say about Father's Day. Father's Day, we're going to be at the Dillaway Thomas from 1 to 4 o'clock with our Sons of the Soil exhibit. I did this great exhibit about linking some of the great Boston men to locations, physical spaces in our community. So Malcolm X got, Mosque 11 and a little house, so different buildings. And because you just see these names and some people don't even know, especially the young ones, they don't even know who is this person called John D. O'Brien or Bruce D. Bowling, so they don't know about, but they'll be walking in the buildings every day. So we're going to be at the Dillaway Thomas House, historic house, and we're going to be having a great event for Father's Day. So we're going to be honoring a posthumous award. We have a posthumous award we're doing, and some legacy awards. Dr. Barry Gaither is going to be there. Joel McCall is going to be there. Chip Greenridge is going to be there. We got a few people on the docket, and our MC is no other than Boston City Councilor Brian Worrell. So we're ready to go for Juneteenth, Come on, bring it on. It's that time of
It
year.
is.
Go.
Yeah, I love it. It's going to be a big celebration. Yeah, so don't miss it. What time does Sunday begin?
1 o'clock and 1 to 4. We're going to have the exhibit open before the program starts, but we'll have the exhibit open from 1.
Oh, wow.
And we got food from Papa B's barbecue.
Oh,
That sounds good. I wish I could be there.
Right.
I'm telling y'all, I got these
yeah, you
places
gotta
that
be.
I can get up, and I'm gonna have to make a plan and get myself on a plane.
You know what? My son said he might want to go to University of Houston.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, he's got a play auntie down here. He's certainly welcome.
Hey,
Make sure.
hey, and he likes auntie.
Oh yeah,
He
yeah.
likes to get all the the treats and things. Don't mind. Very good at that. I don't know if you know what you're asking for.
Nope. I'm ready for it. I'm working on my Auntie of the Year award. So yeah, bring it on.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yes.
So I guess let's get like some parting words from everyone, and then we can we can move on. So yeah. What do you want to say, anyone?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess as I'll go first, and I may ramble a little bit, but as you can tell from me, I'm down here in Houston, and Michelle, the first lives in me winner, that learning about our beginnings, where my people have come from, has changed and influenced my life, and even just the beauty that has given me a community that stretches beyond, say, Little Rock and Houston, Texas, but it literally spans the United States and even across the globe, and so I guess the parting words that I would have is like, if you haven't started this journey, don't wait another day. Now's the time. We would love for you to get involved with what we're doing here with Lives in Me Heritage, to begin your own personal journey. Because the only thing we can do is build momentum for here. Because as we learn more about ourselves, I keep saying it, as we reclaim our stories, it does something. It builds something up in us. It allows us to have the perseverance that we need for this journey that we're looking at ahead. And so I'm just saying, learn your history, know where you come from, because when you understand the stories of people in the past and all that they've overcome, like, yeah, it really says, well, what am I complaining about? I have more resources, and I can go even further. Actually, my history demands that I will go further. So we can continue to be in the first. And even if it's the seconds, we can continue to stand on those shoulders of the giants that have gone before us. And so we're gonna march on in faith, in love, and peace. Because we are a peaceful people because of how we've always seen God. He's not limited. There's no scarcity. He's a big God, and he can do great things because he's done great things for centuries in our people. And so let's keep on discovering, what lives inside of us.
Nice. Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, get into your roots. If you're in the US, your bloodline, knowing where your blood is at and from, can be literally the key to a new life. It could be the gateway to expanding on legacy. I mean, if you never even thought about legacy, it can be the beginning of getting into building and reclaiming your legacy. I say that as, we learned about Gio's bloodline, and that sis can get her citizenship where she's from just because she took this test.
Wow.
That to me is the most beautiful offering that you can have. Wow, how rich is that? Talk about blood, right? So just begin setting up what you want your legacy to look like, and that's all I'm gonna say. And congrats to our future winner, whoever it may be, on Saturday.
Right.
Can't wait.
Well, I wanted to say that I think I wanted to say everybody should claim. My party message would be claim your space. Understanding full well that claiming our space is like there's either or. You're either going to have an exceptional African American community versus an exceptional American community. What I mean by that is, like, our history is in direct contradiction of the American exceptional story.
Mhm.
And every step that we claim on that road, every step that we claim that, of we're exceptional, right? We had people inventing things in 1800s, right? But they had to cover that up because if we are exceptional, then they are cruel.
Mhm. That's right.
That's the dichotomy that we have to understand exists, because there is no way for us. I mean, so it's either we accept that we're not exceptional and they're cruel, or we keep quiet and not be exceptional and because of their cruelty.
Mm.
There is no other dynamic that is there. So claim your space, claim it. There's physical spaces, there are cultural spaces, there are words. I claim woke, that's our word.
That's ours.
You don't use, that's our word. Just like you don't want to say the N word, but you don't want to, but you want to say woke. But woke was supposed to be woke from being that N word, if you didn't know. So if you block that word is like a chakra, Michelle. It's a gateway out of that being that N word, being a commodity, something that somebody sold you, and they could take your children and sell your children. They could rape you. They could kick you out of your community. They could work you to the bone until you die. They could do anything they wanted to you. And that word, that woke word, that's what it's a doorway. It's a mental thing. We didn't invent it. Our people came up with it. We had time to be awake. You have to be woke. So everybody need to claim your space and be woke and claim all kinds of spaces that you have. And I know I'm gonna get off that soapbox. And
Okay.
but I appreciate y'all. Y'all stay
Well, I
blessed.
hope you all enjoyed a good word from the pastor. Our resident doctor.
I know. She's about to catch the spirit. That's what it looked like. She's about to catch the spirit. Very stylish spirit. They don't make the church ladies like they used to. They don't make the church ladies like they used to. This was different.
No, they're not like they used to.
They're really stylish, honey.
Out here in these streets, they real stylish. You got that right.
Right,
Sure.
right. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
So y'all take care. Happy Juneteenth,
Yes.
y'all.
Peace
Thank
all.
you. Happy Juneteenth to you, and peace to you, my sister. All right. Thanks for a great show.